So, we've all played around with chatbots, right? And we've seen those amazing AI image generators. But what if AI could go beyond just creating stuff and actually do things for you? I mean, not just write an email, but send it, track the replies, and then schedule the meeting, all on its own. Well, that's the promise of what's called agentic AI. But here's the twist we're going to dig into in this explainer. What if that whole dream of a truly autonomous AI is already dead on arrival?
And that really tees up the central question for us today. What do we actually want from these incredibly powerful new systems? Are we looking for a brilliant jazz musician, one that's capable of incredible creative improvisation, but, is also going to hit a wrong note every now and then? Or are we trying to build a perfectly disciplined orchestra, executing a complex plan with flawless precision? And look, this is way more than just some philosophical debate. This is the real-world conflict that's shaping the entire future of this technology.
Okay, so to really get where this is all heading, we've got to take a quick step back and look at where it all started. See, the idea of an AI agent didn't just pop up yesterday. No, it's a dream that's been cooking for decades. The dream has been to create a machine that could act as our proxy in the world, an autonomous entity that could understand our goals and then just go out and make them happen. So what exactly is agentic AI? Well, the key thing to grasp here is the big shift from being reactive to being proactive. Think about it. A standard chatbot just sits there waiting for you to type something in. That's reactive. But an agent, it's proactive. You give it a big picture goal, and it figures out the rest. It perceives the world, it reasons about a plan, and then it takes action to get that goal accomplished. It's the difference between a tool that generates content and a partner that gets a job done.
And believe me, this dream has been a long time coming. What's so cool here is how you can see all these different ideas from totally different fields finally converging. It starts way back in the 40s with cybernetics, giving us the basic concept of feedback loops to hit a goal. Then in the 70s, you get this idea of a society of minds from distributed AI. Fast forward to the 80s, and we get a philosophical blueprint for how a rational agent should think, the belief, desire, intention model. But the final piece of the puzzle, the actual brain to power the whole show, that didn't show up until the 2020s with the arrival of large language models.
All right, so let's move from the history books to right now. How is this old dream turning into a seriously powerful modern reality? Because these things aren't just lab experiments anymore. They're out in the wild, doing real heavy lifting for some of the biggest companies on the planet. Okay, so at the core of every single one of these agents is this loop. It looks simple, but it is incredibly powerful. First, it perceives. It's gathering data, seeing what's going on through APIs and sensors. Then it reasons. This is where the LLM brain kicks in, breaking down a big goal into a concrete, step-by-step plan. Next up, it acts. It actually goes and executes that plan using whatever digital tools it needs. And finally, and this is crucial, it learns. It looks at the results of its actions and refines its strategy for the next time around. This, right here, is the engine of autonomy. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some abstract diagram. This exact cycle is delivering some absolutely mind-blowing results for major industries. Let's get into some of the hard numbers, because they really tell the story. Okay, first up, heavy industry. Siemens put AI agents to work monitoring all the sensor data coming off their big manufacturing equipment, basically to predict when things are going to break. And the result? Up to a 50% drop in unplanned downtime. Now, for a giant company like Siemens, that's not just saving a few bucks. It fundamentally changes the entire economics of their operations. It's a game changer. All right, now let's shift gears to the super high-pressure world of Formula One racing, where literally every split second counts. Using a multi-agent system from AWS, teams can now diagnose some complex technical problem and find a fix almost instantly, right in the middle of a race. The impact? An 86% cut in their resolution time. I mean, that is just staggering. It turns what could be a race-ending disaster into just a little hiccup. And one more. Let's look at finance. You know how slow everything is because of all the complex compliance rules? Well, ING Bank used agents to handle their customer onboarding process. The outcome was nothing short of transformative. They slashed the time it takes by an incredible 90%. A process that used to take days of manual paperwork now happens in just minutes, all while keeping everything secure. It's wild. So, yeah, the results speak for themselves, right? More speed, better efficiency, lower costs. The case for agents seems like a total slam dunk. But this is where our story takes a pretty sharp turn. Because all of this incredible power, it comes with some equally incredible and often totally hidden dangers. And that brings us to a really critical question. We've been pitched this idea that total, unconstrained autonomy is the holy grail. But what if? What if it's not a feature at all? What if it's actually the system's fatal flaw? What if the very thing that makes these agents so powerful is also what makes them profoundly dangerous for any serious business? You can really break the problem down into three big buckets, what some are starting to call the triad of risks. First, you've got technical fragility. These systems are often these black boxes. We don't really know how they're reasoning. They're prone to what are called cascading hallucinations, where one tiny mistake snowballs into a total system failure. Second, ethical bankruptcy. I mean, when an agent screws up and causes real harm, who's responsible? It creates this massive accountability vacuum. And finally, you have security crises. We're talking about terrifying new ways for bad guys to attack, like memory poisoning or tool hijacking. It's the kind of stuff that gives cybersecurity teams nightmares. So this triad of risks, it's not just theory. It is forcing a huge course correction in the industry. And this brings us right to the core idea of this whole explainer. The future of AI isn't about giving it more freedom. It's about designing better human control. So here's the bottom line. That initial dream of pure, freewheeling, autonomous AI, it's failing the test of the real world. For any serious enterprise, it's just too risky, too unpredictable, and way too insecure. The only real path forward is a completely new model, something we can call orchestrated agency. And this right here is the perfect way to picture the two competing visions. On one side, you've got unconstrained autonomy. That's the jazz ensemble. It's improvisational, it can be really creative, but man, it is unpredictable and can easily descend into chaos. That was the initial hype. But on the other side, you have orchestrated agency. This is the symphony orchestra. You've got a central conductor leading everything, you've got clear sheet music for everyone to follow, and you have specialized musicians all working together in perfect harmony. It's predictable, it's scalable, and maybe most important of all, it's safe. Which brings us to the final strategic choice we all have to make. When you really think about putting AI in charge of our most critical systems, we're talking finance, healthcare, infrastructure, which of these two models do you actually want running the show? After looking at all of this, the conclusion feels pretty inescapable. The future of agentic AI isn't freedom, it's control. It's all about building better, more robust systems of control. It's about building guardrails, making sure there's accountability, and putting human oversight right back in the absolute center of the system, not leaving it on the sidelines. So, I'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. For the most critical, high-stakes jobs in the world, the things that absolutely, positively cannot be allowed to fail, are you going to hire a brilliant but unpredictable jazz band, or are you going to hire a world-class orchestra? Your answer to that question, well, it tells you everything you need to know about where agentic AI is really headed.